Welcome to the Talking Texas Rangers podcast. I'm your host, Larry Elise. Today we're diving into the latest headlines from around Globe Life Field. But of course, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Game Time, for sponsoring this episode. If you're looking for the best place to get your tickets, then check out Game Time today. Use the link in the description and help support the show. And before we move on, hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up if you like our video. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button to be notified of future videos, and consider supporting the channel by buying us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/TTRangers. And now on to our first topic. Our weekly report, Josh Jung is proving his value. Who thought Texas Rangers top prospect Josh Jung was going to have one heck of a Major League debut last Friday? He got a huge ovation from the home crowd that attended his debut against the Blue Jays. What happened next is like something out of a storybook or a movie script. He took a high fastball and sent it over the left field wall for his first Major League home run. And I'll get to the highlights in just a second. But you guys gotta check the interview out that Bally Sports Southwest Rangers in-game host Emily Jones did with his parents after the run. And let's talk about who made the list, who's hot, who's not. Starting off with Mark Mathias. I guess Mathias wants to make sure he cements a roster spot for himself next season. In the last 22 at-bats, Mathias has 6 hits, 3 homers, and 8 RBIs. He's also hit his first ever walk-off home run the other night against the Athletics, and could be our utility player next year if he finishes the season strong. And of course, the man of the hour, Josh Jung. He made sure Ranger fans who attended his Major League debut got a taste of what he can do for this team. He has 7 hits, 2 homers, and 4 RBIs in his first week in the Major Leagues. The sky is the limit for this man, and I can't wait to see how he finishes the season. And then Jonathan Ornelas. He's one of those flying under the radar prospects for the Rangers and leads AA with the most hits this season. He's helped propel the Rough Riders into a possible playoff spot, which they can clinch in the final series against the Arkansas Travelers. I'd keep an eye on him as he could be promoted to AAA next season. And of course, Adolis Garcia. Garcia will not let the Rangers get blown out by an opponent this season, and he showed it this week. He basically jump-started the Rangers back into the game this week with home runs. Can't wait to see who will join him in the outfield next season. Marcus Semien. He's another player that has provided the offense this past week. He's had 11 hits, 7 RBIs, and 2 homers in the past week. He also had the most embarrassing moment of the week when he forgot he was the leadoff batter against the Athletics on Wednesday night. See, he's just like us. And unfortunately, we got to address who's not hot. And of course, that includes Dane Dunning, Kohei Arihara, and Cole Reagans. 2 of these pitchers will more than likely not be back next season. Dunning and Arihara had terrible outings this past week, which cemented them not being back with the team next season. Cole Reagans, however, I want to see him under the new pitching staff next season before moving on from him. I think Doug Mathis and the current pitching staff has wrecked his progress and his mental state on the mound. Along with Cole Winn, Reagans has one more season to show the Rangers he's worth keeping around before moving on from them. And of course, the Rangers are set to begin a series against the Los Angeles Angels tomorrow, and it will be at home. And now, we're going to talk about 3 players that should not return next season. As the Texas Rangers begin their sights on 2023, it's becoming increasingly clear which players are worth retaining and which ones they need to move on from. This is especially true of a team that intends to start competing for real. There's no more time to waste. Young talents like Josh Jung, Bubba Thompson, Ezekiel Duran, and Josh Smith should stay. Seems obvious enough, right? And that should make some of the veteran players on this squad expendable. So these are three players who should absolutely not return to the Rangers next season. Starting off, Brad Miller. He's been an epic disaster. He was signed to a 2-year deal last offseason and has provided negative value for the Rangers this season. Let's face it, Miller has been utterly useless for this team. After hitting 20 homers as a reserve player for the Phillies in 2021, that power has dissipated in a major way in 2022. Miller has just 7 long balls with the Rangers. He hasn't been on the field recently either due to injuries. There's absolutely none scenarios that can be drawn up where the veteran utility man continues to occupy a roster spot heading into 2023. When he could be replaced by, competence, or at the very least a young player. It's time for the Rangers to cut their loss and absorb the second and final year on this contract, just as they've done with Odor, Gallo, and Andrews the last few seasons. And number 2, somebody I thought had potential, but unfortunately doesn't. Cole Calhoun. This signing was questioned from the moment it was announced. Though there's no such thing as a bad one-year deal, or the fact that Calhoun had killed the Texas Rangers as a longtime member of the LA Angels of Anaheim, neither point helps make the case for the veteran outfielder as being worth even a small investment. Much like Miller, Calhoun has provided negative value to the Rangers in 2022. With only 12 home runs this season, it's not too shabby for a part-time player. Calhoun has been a player in decline for years, and yet the Rangers believed he could still contribute meaningfully to this roster. That hasn't been so, and with more exciting players like Bubba Thompson having demonstrated their capacity to be assets to this team, this renders Cole Calhoun expendable. Between the Miller and Calhoun free agent signings last winter, some of the luster of an otherwise memorable offseason was lost. Hopefully, they can improve their scouting and veteran players to add for 2023. And finally, we got to address it. You can't deny it, but most of the current pitching staff. Instead of naming a specific player in this spot, let's just single out an entire staff. The Rangers pitching staff has been bad in 2022, outside of a select handful of names like Mark Perez, John Gray, Taylor Hearn, Brock Burke, Jonathan Hernandez. Almost no one else among this group has done anything to make fans feel good about the state of the pitching heading into 2023. It's time for a near-complete overhaul of a pitching staff that ranks 21st in baseball with a combined ERA of 4.22. There are promising pitching prospects afoot like Cole Winn, Jack Leiter, and others, but to rely on them to become saviors right away would be an ill-advised strategy, especially for an organization that has been notoriously bad at developing pitching internally. Both the starters and the bullpen have had their moments this season, like former closer Jose Leclerc blowing some recent save chances. If the Rangers truly want to become contenders in 2023, it's time to invest in a bullpen this team can feel good about late in games, in addition to a starting rotation littered with question marks. Let us know in the comments section below. Are there other players that we should have included that should be not returning to the Rangers next season? Let us know. And now, on to our next topic. Is Corey Seager the biggest victim of the shift? The 2010s saw an immense rise in MLB teams using the defensive shift. Ranger fans are all too familiar with this, as their 2017 team had Joey Gallo, Rougned Odor, and Nomar Mazara, 3 of the most shifted against hitters at the time. Now, in 2022, Ranger fans wince whenever they see Corey Seager hit a hard grounder or line drive to the right side of the diamond. According to Baseball Savant, defenses have implemented a shift against Seager in a whopping 93.3% of his at-bats. To combat Seager being one of the league's biggest pole hitters, opposing teams have consistently put 3 infielders on the right side of the diamond when facing him. Unfortunately, this hasn't been pretty if you're a Ranger fan or Corey Seager. So far, Seager had hit 175 grounders and low line drives against the shift in 2022. He's got a measly 160 batting average on these, and SIS Baseball estimates 26 base hits have been lost, the most across the league. Savant also shows that on plate appearances without facing the shift, Seager has a WOBA of 412, and when facing the shift, it drops to 327, which is a severe difference. Lost base hits aren't the only unfortunate stat in which Texas Rangers shortstop Corey Seager leads the league. To add insult to injury, Marcus Semien is also featured on the list. It can be highly frustrating when the ball is hit hard toward a defender for an out, but Ranger fans won't have to deal with this problem at such high frequency anymore. Among other changes, MLB recently announced they are banning all defensive shifts for the next season. MLB Competition Committee wants to boost offense and slowly move away from the 3 true outcome that has garnered negative tension around the league. The announcement of this ban has led to mixed reactions from fans, but I believe Ranger fans should rejoice. We have Corey Seager for 9 more seasons without the shift. This means our perennial MVP candidate just got even better. I know this season has been tough, but keep your heads high, Texas Ranger fans. Your fitted Ranger cap is falling off, and Seager will be just fine. And now, on to our final topic. The Rangers 2022 elimination means the Texas Rangers season is officially over, and the build-up to 2023 has officially begun. The Texas Rangers will not be playing postseason baseball in 2022. This fate has been understood for months, but now it's realized. 2016 remains the last time the Rangers played a game after the conclusion of regular season. And there shouldn't be a single soul surprised at this outcome. Coming into the season, the Rangers rightfully had high expectations after a spending spree that saw them acquire Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, John Gray, and Cole Calhoun. They were followed by Martin Perez, Mitch Garver, Brad Miller, after a lockout wiped a large chunk of the offseason. But money can only solve so many problems, especially on a roster brimming with flaws. The attempt was made, though, and valiantly. Ultimately, another year of subpar pitching and an abysmal record in one-run contests did the Rangers in. That record in one-run games is particularly frustrating because even if they had a .500 record in those situations, Texas might still be finding themselves in the hunt for an AL wildcard spot. In reality, improvement on a 100-loss 2021 season was paramount, and that at least was achieved. The book is closed on 2022 effectively, but that just gives us a reason to look ahead to 2023, a year which the Rangers have targeted for a return to contention. The process of building up for what should be one of the most anticipated Ranger seasons in recent memory starts now. Like we said, Josh Jung, the team's top overall prospect, is already proving his worth at the highest level. Right behind him is an impressive trove of prospects led by pitchers Jack Leiter, Kumar Rocker, Owen Wright, Brock Porter, Evan Carter, Aaron Zavala, and others not far behind. At the big league level, a lineup core comprising of Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, Nathaniel Lowe, Adolis Garcia, and Jonah Heim is beginning to take form. Gray and Martin Perez are the mid-rotation linchpins that every starting staff needs, while Brock Burke and Jonathan Hernandez will begin this season as high-leverage bullpen options. Again, you can see the beginning of a sustainable core. Now, a front office led by Chris Young will need to ensure proper reinforcements arrive in Arlington this winter. If he's successful, the outlook will be good for the 2023 Rangers. There's no more room for error with the trajectory of this organization in the near future. The time has come, and the Rangers need to be ready to deliver a playoff season for its fans in 2023. Let us know your thoughts on the topics we covered in the comment section below. Is there something we missed, something we should have covered? And let us know your thoughts on what are you expecting the Rangers to do in regards to trades, maybe defensive changes in the upcoming season. Let us know. Yeah, as always, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Talking Texas Rangers. And as always, if you want to support the show, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/TTRangers. Your support helps the channel grow, upgrade our equipment, bring in new hosts, be able to pay them, and hopefully one day take this show on the road. Your support can help make that happen. And no amount is too small. Whether you give us $1, $5, $20, $50, $100, everything is appreciated. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We will see you next time.